In this lesson, we're going to talk about using a button to display a piece of text and then to make that piece of text disappear. And what I'm really trying to get through to you here is how you can use the visible checkbox in the properties section to make things appear and disappear, at least from the user's perspective. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to first drag out two button components, and I'm going to rename these both the same thing. And the reason for this will become evident in a little bit. I'm going to say click here. Now what I'm going to do is make sure that button 1 is highlighted here. Go to the properties section and check this little visible box. And now we see that button 1 actually disappears and button 2 moves into the place where button 1 used to be. So now I can make this visible again, and there it is. I can make it invisible. You can click on the Display Invisible Components in Viewer checkbox, and we'll see that button 1 reappears, but we've actually still got it hidden. So the last thing we're going to do is grab a label component. We're going to throw that out there, and we're just going to put some text in here. I'll say maybe, "This is fun." A couple exclamation points for good measure. So this is the text that's going to show up when we start clicking and unclicking our buttons. I'm also going to make this one invisible. And so if we uncheck this box, we'll see that all the invisible components disappear, and now they're back. So according to the user of the app, this is what it's going to look like. According to us, this is what it looks like. So let's grab the blocks editor, and we'll show you how to put the blocks together for this. So since button 2 is our visible button, that's the one the user is going to click first. I'm going to grab a button2.click block, and I'm going to start messing around with the visibility of these components. So when button 2 is clicked, I want to set the visibility to false, because what I want to happen is I want button 1 to appear, and actually I do want the text to appear as well. So what we want to do then is grab our button 1 visibility block and set that to true, because we want that to show up. And then we're going to grab our label component, visible block, and we're going to set that to true as well, because we want that text to show up. And I think you're going to love the simplicity of this. Actually, we're going to go find our button1.click block, and what we can do is actually just do what we did right here, but in the reverse order. So we'll grab our button 2 visibility block, and we'll say true. Grab our button 1 visibility block, and we'll say false. And then we're going to grab our label 1 visibility. We want that to go away too, so we're going to say false. All right, so again, what we've done here is button 2 is the first one that we have showing up for the user. So we're going to say button 2 click. What happens then? We want button 2 to not be visible, so we set it to false. We want button 1 to be visible, so we set that to true. And we want the text in the label component to be visible, so we set that to true as well. Now, once the user's clicked button 2, button 1 is going to appear, and the label text is going to be there as well. The user is actually now clicking button 1. So what do we want to happen when button 1 is clicked? Well, we want that button 2 visibility to be true. We want button 2 to show back up again. We want button 1 to go away, so that's false. And we want the text in the label component to go away, so that's false as well. So let's go ahead and grab our emulator here, and you can see that when we get our app up and running, it looks like we just have one button. There doesn't look to be two buttons, or two buttons and a text box, or two buttons and a label component, nothing like that. So we'll click here as the button says, and there you see, "This is fun" shows up. And if we click on it again, that goes away.